Last Sunday, Shohei Ohtani made his major league pitching debut at the Coliseum, and the two-way phenom did not disappoint. The hard-throwing Japanese Babe Ruth gave up only 3 hits through 6 innings and secured his first win. The 23-year-old Ohtani is the talk of baseball and is becoming a must-see player when he is at the plate or towing the rubber. Ohtani takes the hill at the Big A in his home pitching debut. Final game of the series, A's, Angels, next. We are at Angel Stadium of Anaheim. A sellout crowd is filing in, and it is Ohtani Day. He's making his second start. It is also the rubber game of the series. It's the A's and the Angels coming up on NBC Sports California, powered by Xfinity. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. Big deal today. Ohtani in the house and a sellout crowd as well here, so it should be a lot of fun. And Ray, we saw Ohtani on Sunday. He was impressive. What was your scouting report on him?
Well, second start, both against the Athletics. The A's got a chance to see him last Sunday. The one thing that he does throw is a good fastball, a little tip of the hat there, the bow as he starts. But he has a great split finger fastball. He had 6 strikeouts, mostly with the splitter, even one that was left up to Chris Davis. The only mistake he made was a hanging curveball to Matt Chapman for a 3-run home run. Gave up 3 hits in 1 inning for 6 innings, and that was it. But his fastball, mid to upper 90s. He's got a great splitter. Not surprised to see a Japanese-born pitcher with a split-finger fastball. But you have to probably look fastball, try to hit that.
All right, so the A's have seen him once. Do they need to make adjustments? Will they make adjustments today? For more on that, let's go downstairs to Dallas Braden.
That's right, guys, and the adjustments that they are looking to make, as Boss pointed out, a tremendous split finger. They're going to have to see Ohtani up in the zone. He does a good job of painting that fastball low, tunneling that split finger off of that. So for them, get to him early, get to him often, and get to him up in the zone. Take away that split finger fastball. If they can get to the heater, guys, it could be a long day for Ohtani.
All right, so Shohei Ohtani making his second big league start. Kendall Graveman making his third start this year. He's looking for his first win. We'll have lineups and first pitch on a beautiful day for baseball in Anaheim, so stick around.
through every time. See your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places. By Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Jack in the Box. Try the new Brunch Fist Country Scrambler Plate with Jimmy Dean sausage links. Only at Jack in the Box.
Welcome back to the Big A here in Anaheim. A gorgeous day for baseball as the Angels take the field. Matt Chapman's ready to go, looking good. See, he's looking good. He's gonna have a big day. He's gonna have a big day. All right, let's check out the game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. The admission-free boardwalk is open for spring break. It's getting warm down here in Southern California. It's 72 degrees today. Tomorrow it's supposed to get into the mid to high 80s. But just about perfect weather. Plenty of sunshine. All white uniforms for the home Angels. All gray uniforms for the visiting Athletics.
Perfect, the way it should be. Every Sunday.
Starting lineup for the Athletics brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Here it is. It's Joyce, Simeon, Lowry, Davis, Olson, Chapman. Matt Chapman sitting on a 9-game hitting streak. Then Lucroy, Piscotty, and Smolinski.
And it is Shohei Ohtani starting for the Angels. His second start. He pitches on Sunday, which throughout a season there's 26 weekends. So let's see if he starts 26 times. But he did well against the Athletics. Picked up his first Major League victory in his Major League debut last Sunday. Gave up just the 3 hits, all coming in back-to-back-to-back hitters. And that's all he gave up. So they know what he does. They know what he throws. And I doubt that he's going to change much today, considering what he already throws and has thrown to the hitters.
Upton, Trout, Calhoun in the outfield. Schimpf, Simmons, Cozart, Valbuena on the infield, third to first, and Maldonado is your catcher. So Ohtani finishing up his warm-up tosses. Kind of a festive crowd today here in Anaheim. Lots of the Japanese media all around the ballpark today for obvious reasons.
Got 2 years ago, the A's faced Jared Weaver and Tim Lincecum back-to-back games in Oakland, and they were outstanding. Came back here the next series basically, and they were horrible. So let's see if Ohtani, because there's no pitcher that's going to be perfect. You may never see a 20-game winner anymore. It's just one of those things. They don't make as many starts anymore. They don't go deep enough in the game sometimes. But he's human, and I think the A's, maybe learning from what they saw last Sunday, can help them today. But it is a unique situation, and I think the A's are privileged to be able to see him as a pitcher, as a position player, which they have seen, and he's done quite well on both ends.
So Matt Joyce steps in the batter's box, and we're set for baseball. It's the rubber game of the series. A wild one on Friday night. Angels won 13-9. The A's bounced back. A good ball game last night for the A's as they won 7-3. So the first pitch of the ball game from Ohtani to Matt Joyce is on its way, and it's well off the plate for a ball. Simeon to follow, and then Lowry here in the first inning. 233 the average for Matt Joyce, a homer and 3 RBIs. He's got 7 hits and 30 at bats, a couple of doubles. And that one called a strike.
How about a little bit of a hesitation by Jerry Davis? Call it, Jerry. Don't hesitate.
Jerry Davis, the crew chief, is calling balls and strikes. Carlson, Knight, and Hoberg. Rest of the group. That one bounces way out in front of home plate. So in the start on Sunday, we saw Ohtani with the good fastball, which is advertised. We knew that. Splitter was very good. Breaking ball, I don't know that his breaking ball was real sharp on Sunday.
Talk about that split being good, guys. 24 splits he threw, 10 swing and misses, only 3 curveballs, 26 sliders.
Good pitch there, and the count is 2-2.
Well, this is going to be interesting to see with this 2-strike pitch now, even though it's 2-2. You see the fastball, slider, split, and curveball. Throws a splitter about as often as he does a slider. Curveball is less. Fastball under 50%, which is abnormal. But if you have a good slider and splitter, see if he throws it on this pitch.
That one hit high and foul. A fastball at 96 miles an hour. Well, today, any 95-mile-an-hour fastball is our fast pitch, brought to you by Xfinity, the fastest Wi-Fi at home and on the go. And
He just did it, didn't he?
yeah, he will get it up there. Kendall Graveman, if he's got the good fastball, he can get it up to 94, 95 miles an hour. Swing and a miss, struck him out. Looked like the splitter.
Yep.
And it's a good one.
But he threw the fastball first one 2-2, but it's a critical count because you figure if he misses, he's got to come back with a fastball. He's like any other pitcher, but I tell you, to throw the splitter and you throw it right down the middle and just let it bottom out.
Well, keep an eye on the splitter.
We talked about having to see them up, see those splitters up, and to the point there, you see the percentage on the ground ball, 66.7, 67% ground balls when contact is made on that pitch as well. So again, got to see that pitch up in the zone. If it's low, let it go.
Good swing there by Marcus Semien. But a quick 0-2 count. Marcus at 256, a homer and 5 RBIs.
Well, out of the stretch, as most Japanese-born pitchers do, high leg kick, no hesitation that time, and threw Marquez that breaking pitch, curveball the first pitch for a strike, fastball second, and see if he goes to the splitter with 0-2.
Close pitch, could have been called a strike according to our strike box right there. Let's see where it crosses home plate.
Well, that's like in Jerry Davis with Matt Joyce on the second strike, or the first strike, he kind of hesitated, almost like he wasn't going to call it initially.
Pitchcast is brought to you by SoFi, a modern finance company.
Let's not forget that if the splitter doesn't really work that well and it doesn't split down hard, it becomes a very hittable fastball. If it doesn't move, fastball that he does throw mid to upper 90s, so that's the difference.
That one spins inside, so now it's a full count. It was 0-2, it's gone to 3-2.
And that was a splitter that didn't do anything.
And this is the point here. You spit on those two pitches, you let that spinner right there back up on you, and you find yourself right back in the count. 3-2 fastball action.
And see what Maldonado does if he goes to the splitter, which, if it's thrown well, looks like the fastball.
Got him swinging. 96 miles an hour.
We talked about him executing low in the zone with the fastball. Ray, you mentioned throwing the splitter off of it. Well, you see here, he doubled up with that splitter twice, wasn't able to get a strike with it. He comes back with the heater in the same spot. And for Ohtani, it's about repeating in that same tunnel.
So 2 away, here's Lowry.
Well, one of the things that we have seen in the first 2 games, Maldonado caught Friday and today, Rivera last night. Both catchers are very off-speed oriented in calling the game, even in fastball counts. That's why it's a little bit surprising, but you have to know what your pitcher can do. Can he throw that pitch in a critical count? And maybe work it enough. And that's what you try to do as a catcher. Use the pitcher's pitches as much as possible early. See what he establishes, and at that point, kind of go with that pitch.
Swing and a miss, 87 miles an hour. You see that velocity, that would be the splitter.
Right. And it is the split, and he throws it coming out like the fastball, which that's why you see splitter hitters swing at the splitter like they do, thinking it's going to be a fastball.
0-2 pitch got him swinging. So Shohei Ohtani in his first inning in front of the home fans as a pitcher strikes out the side. Bottom of the first coming up. The first, their lineup, which is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, looks like this: Cozart, Trout, Upton, Pujols, Calhoun, Simmons, Valbuena, Maldonado, Schimpf, and a hot hitter right now is Justin Upton.
Take my chances with Kendall Graveman today. He's making his third start, opening day starter for the Athletics, and the first two he's elevated too many pitches and given up some home runs, too many. But anytime you're facing a quality starter like Ohtani today, you have your pitcher go deep, because I had 15 pitches in the first inning for Ohtani, times 6, that's 90. He threw 92 last Sunday. I don't know that they would throw that many pitchers. I have him throw that many today. Mike Scioscia needs a good outing and a long outing for a starting pitcher today.
Well, what Oakland needs out of Graveman is what we saw early on here in the first two pitches of the game. Fastball low and away, fastball inside, get ahead, move that heater around.
Well, and one thing he does do, Dallas, which everybody can appreciate, is he works quickly.
Yes.
I mean, nobody on base. He's waiting for the hitter to get in the box.
Swing and a miss, struck him out. So, good start for Kendall Graveman. Here's a look at the A's defense behind Graveman today. Joyce, Smolinski, and Piscotty in the outfield. Chapman, Simeon, Lowry, and Olson on the infield.
Hey, Kipe, it must be for the Angels today, pants up day, because the first two batters, and I see Upton in the on-deck circle with the pant legs pulled up, all the stirrups soaring. So all red. You saw it with Cozart. This is an unusual look for Mike Trout and Upton. So something's going on with the Angels today. Maybe a Sunday pants up.
Maybe. It was kind of like that when teams did it as a group,
right?
Just
right.
for something fun.
A lot of times, depending on the pitcher, if the pitcher did it, then they kind of followed suit.
Yeah.
But I was wondering about Upton when I saw him, and then of course Pujols next. See if the big man has him, then we know everybody is.
1-2 the count to Mike Trout. Trout is struggling right now. He's hitting 184. And believe it or not, Trout is 0 for his last 14.
Let's see, it's a little after 1 o'clock. If we could say that a little after 4 o'clock.
I was going to say, let's get out of here.
Get out of here and let it be over and let somebody else take over.
Before he gets upset.
He will. Well, sometimes, and what Mike Trout is doing now, he's not swinging wildly, pitches out of the strike zone. And if a hitter is struggling, Matt Chapman has said it before, you want to see the ball longer, which means you're not jumping at the pitches, letting the ball travel. So you'd have to think Mike Trout is going to be looking for something away and go that way.
Rolls that one foul.
We've seen the intent out of Graveman, the conviction out of Graveman with the fastball, move it around. He's very, very determined to establish it early on. That's something that can help him as he gets deeper into the ball game, especially here against a guy like Mike Trout. Establish that fastball early.
Another 3-2 and a curveball that stays a little bit inside. So a 1-out walk. So Kendall strikes out Cozart, just his third strikeout this year. And these numbers based on a very small sample size with just the third start today for Graveman, but comparing with strikeouts on your mind, comparing last year to this year, whiff percentage and K percent. He's not going to be a huge strikeout guy.
Well, I have to wonder about the 3-2 curveball. The curveball on 3-2 was his first curveball of the day. Granted, just the second hitter, but Mike Trout, it wasn't a particularly great curveball, and Trout went from 0-2 quickly to 3-2, then the walk. Now Pujols doesn't have his pant legs up. So
Albert does what he wants.
yeah, big man's going to do exactly what he wants, right?
When you talk about the swing and miss rate having gone down, the K percentage having gone down, one thing you think about is Kendall Graveman having acknowledged the necessity to pitch to contact, to create longevity in his outings. In the day and age where guys are going 5 and 6 and being satisfied, he wants to get deeper into that ball game. So it's a recognition of, you know what, if I'm going to pitch to contact early, I can hang around this ball game, I can do bullpen some favors. It works out for everyone the deeper you get.
Well, we've seen Upton in this series thinking down and away opposite field, and we'll see if that changes today, the final game of the series. A quick pitch, it's good. Change it up.
Yeah, Upton 5 for 9 with 2 homers and 5 RBIs in this series.
What scares you about a hitter that goes one of the opposite field? You're looking for a rollover to try to get a double play, but if he's thinking opposite field, he's not going to roll over on a pitch away from him. Well, we talked last night about how he took a 2-1 fastball, then he got a slider that he deposited right center field for a 2-run home run, looking for the slider, got it when opposite field. And that's just the recognizing exactly what Mr. Upton was looking for. He got it, didn't miss it.
Trout, I think he may have thought about going strike 3 called right on the outside corner.
Well, we talked about him moving the heater around, and Boss, you mentioned the 3-2 breaking ball to Trout being the first one of the day. Well, you know what? He knows Upton's sitting heater. He's crowded him inside. What do? We talk about put him in the rocking chair, speed him up, slow him down away.
I was just thinking that sometimes you have a pitch thrown that you know it may not be your best at the time, which the 3-2 curveball to Trout wasn't, but it came back with another one to Upton and got the strikeout he was looking for.
So here is Pujols. See the hit total counter way out in center field. 22 hits away from 3,000 in his career. He's got 3 hits in this series, 3 for 7. He has scored 1 run. Trout with a decent lead at first.
Oh, he's going.
I think he was going.
You know, Trout is, of course, he can score from first on a gapper, but he can also steal second. And even though in the past he would not steal with Albert at the plate, looks like that's changed considerably, and maybe trying to get in score position with 2 outs for Albert. Otherwise, Albert leads off next inning if he's thrown out.
Very close, just a bit off the plate.
Listen, there are 3 that hit Pregame those types of pitches. Fastball is up. It's number 1 for Pujols. Calhoun in the on-deck circle also number 1. Cozart also got it. So it's, if you elevate pitches to power hitters, they're going to hit them.
Pujols with 615 career home runs. He's hit 30 or more home runs in a season 14 times. Trying to do it one more to tie a couple pretty good hitters. There's a strike.
You know, the one thing, Dallas, you'd appreciate as a pitcher is changing up the delivery, timing, etc. And he's thrown it first a couple of times with Trout, but with Pujols, it's almost like when he goes to the plate, he's quick pitching, not really taking a lot of time once he comes in set position, which can throw off the timing of a hitter. I see Trout go now.
Outside.
Well, we talked a lot during his side week as well about, again, gaining direction, but having intent, having conviction behind pitch selection. And for him, he understood, and he's wanted to get back to the art of disrupting timing. And that's to your point, boss. Get it and go.
Well out in front. So 2-2 the count to Albert Pujols.
Okay, we've seen over the years how Albert Pujols will use the whole field, especially in RBI situations, but how much we're seeing now where anything that is up, he's turning on it, almost an upper body swing all the time.
Full count. Now Trout will go. Albert Pujols lost some weight in the offseason, we were told. He's in very good shape. It helps to go through an offseason where you don't have some type of surgery.
Well, that's what he said in Oakland when he told us that finally was able to work out in the offseason.
Well, he does look noticeably thinner.
Yeah. But not surprised on 3-2 with 2 outs and runners being held at first, trying to keep Trout from getting a huge jump with his speed.
One thing we watch with Albert, I know it's a full count. We talk about him You see here, watch that foot as he starts to get into his legs, starts to separate, starts to widen out. You see there, starts to widen out a little more.
That's a fair ball down the left field line. Trout digging for third. Joyce picks it up, but Trout just too much speed, and he's going to score standing up, and the Angels lead 1-0. Right over the bag and down the line.
Tried to fool him with a curveball, but he left it up, and even with the range of Matt Chapman could not get to it, but he threw Trout a 3-2 curveball, Albert a 3-2. Look at the location. Not the same location as where he threw Upton. If he'd done that, he might have gotten a strikeout. He left it too much up, and with Trout on the move with a 3-2, even though Joyce got to the ball, Trout just too much speed, and he was going to be seen set by Dino Ebel easily.
.621 doubles now for Albert Pujols, 3 away from tying Hank Aaron. 12th on the all-time list. So this is Cole Calhoun. Calhoun, he's got a base hit left center field. Calhoun beats the shift again. Did he not do that last night, Ray?
And he does it all the time. And you know what? I talked to him last night, and he said, they keep playing me that way, I'm going to keep going to the opposite field. And, you know, those are all the statistics and how he pulls, but you have to understand in an RBI situation, hitters do change. And especially you give him the gap on the left side, which he has right there, he's going to take it.
So you're saying, Ray, he's just waiting back a little bit, just a little bit. And
well,
pitch is moving away from him a
exactly,
little bit.
and you know, he said, I'm smart enough to see what they're trying to do, and I'm also smart enough to know that I'm going to go the other way. And you know, they're still going to shift him, because if he hits into the shift one time, but I still think, and we saw Jed Lowry do it a couple of times a couple years ago in Seattle, when they shifted him and he went left field, drove in 2 runs because of it. And I think that's where the shifts are good, but you also have to think, what is a hitter going to do in RBI situations? And good hitters are going to change. They're not going to just try to be to the point that where they say, I'm going to be stubborn and try to hit through the shift or over the shift. See, the one thing you don't want to do, and the Angels have done it with 2 outs, is give Ohtani a lead. You know, because that's just going to make him better. And, you know, we saw it last Sunday. We got an early lead with 6 innings of 3-hit baseball and picked up a win.
Outside corner to Andrelton Simmons, 0-2. Well, the Angels with a couple of big 2-out hits. Angels, again, just a week and a half into the season, but they have scored the most runs in the American League. They have now scored 56 runs in their first 10 games. That includes today. In the air to right, Piscotty's there. He's got it, side retired. 2 runs and 2 hits for the Angels. We're heading to the second. 2-0 Anaheim. to take on the Suns. Also streaming live on the NBC Sports app. Don't miss anything about the Warriors this season. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and NBCSportsBayArea.com. The Warriors playoffs will get started next weekend. So we'll cheer on the Warriors. Another long run into the postseason if they can get everybody out there. It'll be Davis, Olsen, and Chapman here in the second inning. Ohtani struck out the side in the first.
Last Sunday, the pitcher for the A's was Daniel Gossett. Had a double play in the first inning, retired actually the first 5 before 3 consecutive hits and 2 runs. That's the inning that Matt Chapman hit the 3-run home run. That's all the scoring for the Athletics, and the Angels have 2. The A's scored 3, but that's the short amount of time they had the lead before the Angels retook it and ended up winning the game.
Chris Davis had 200, a homer and 5 RBIs so far. 1 for 8 in this series. High pop up headed for the upper deck. He's coming in 4-6 on the season, with the Angels at 6-3. Astros leading the division 7-2 so far for Houston.
How about to finish the Astros game last night?
Unbelievable. You know, I saw the score, right? We mentioned the score, and then I saw that highlight.
And especially for Eric Hosmer, who I think is one of the best fielding first basemen, overrun a ball.
Ran right by it.
And the catcher just stood there. At least give some help. I mean, but and the 2 outs, runner at second, high fly ball, 20 feet from home plate, drops, game over.
Trout hustling in, and Trout tracks it down. He got a good jump that time.
Right, read the ball well.
We talk about the depth at which Trout plays, and he talked about it in the article. He feels he can come in on the ball better. That is a strong suit of his. We talked about him not diving only but once all season, and that right there is an indication of why Trout plays where he does. The speed, the first step, the ability to get a read off the bat, all the above.
And you know, he doesn't look as fast with those pants pulled up high. Just for some reason, the speed doesn't seem to be there, but he showed it on that fly ball.
Yeah, he's just not as fast.
We got to talk to him about keeping him up.
It slows him down.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he scored from first on a double down the line, no play at the plate, and just robbed KD of a base hit.
1-1 the count to Matt Olson. Olson's had a good series, 3 for 7. He's got a homer. He has scored 3 runs in the series. Ohtani is 23 years old. He'll be 24 in July. He's very tall, 6'4", 200 pounds. His build reminds you a little bit of Yu Darvish, very tall.
That's right. He got 3 strikeouts the first inning, not trying. Yu Darvish tries. He wants strikeouts.
And I mean, there's some similarities watching him pitch. Yeah. Delivery somewhat the same. He doesn't quite have the hesitation like Darvish has.
But Darvish pitching yesterday against the Brewers for the Cubs, and they had a note talking about the highest percentage of strikeouts, and he's at the top, ahead of Randy Johnson.
And that's a nasty pitch, the splitter again.
Well, if you get 2 strikes, it's usually going to be the pitch, and he's got Maldonado behind the plate, and that's twice 2-2. He's gone to the split, twice he's got the strikeout. And again, as long as he just throws it in the middle of the plate and lets it dive down, you know, to Dallas's point, it sounds easy to do. You just hope the hitter can recognize that it is a split. It is going to go down, and it's going to be out of the strike zone, but he's pretty consistent in the strike zone with the pitch.
Yeah, you saw on the replay that one. That was going to be a strike even if Olsen doesn't swing.
Right. See the change early on. He was, I don't want to say nibbling, but he was expanding the zone with that pitch with 2 strikes. Even with 2 strikes now, we're seeing depth in the zone.
So
that looked like maybe the breaking ball, huh?
I think it was a split.
Was it a split?
It just went down and in, and didn't have the bend going away unless it was a backup, but it looked like it was a split.
That one's hit well to left field. Upton going back, and Upton's going to get there. He makes the catch. So well hit ball by Chapman, but another 3 up, 3 down inning for Ohtani. We're headed to the bottom of the second. The Angels with a 2-0 lead.
Is brought to you by the Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid, America's first hybrid minivan. Test drive one today.
2-0 the Angels lead. They got a couple of big 2-out hits that knocked in runs in the first inning. Pujols and Calhoun. So it'll be Valbuena, Maldonado, and Schimpf. Bottom 3 for the Angels. So the A's will stay right here in Southern California. We will actually bus to the hotel to play the Dodgers Tuesday and Wednesday. The Angels will head out on the road. They will go to Texas for 3 and then Kansas City for 4. So road trip coming up for the Angels. A's stay out on the road. 2 at Dodger Stadium and then 3 in Seattle. So a couple of off days this week. High pop-up. Lowry looking up, Simeon looking up. It's going to be the A's second baseman, Jed Lowry, who has it. So here's your pitching matchups for the A's-Dodgers series. Minaya and Ryu on Tuesday, Migden and Wood on Wednesday. Originally, Wood was going to pitch on Tuesday, Ryu Wednesday, but the Dodgers flip-flopped him. We don't know exactly why, but so the Dodgers, who have 4 lefties in their rotation, the A's will see 2 of them.
Well, they're off tomorrow. No doubleheader in San Francisco. They missed 1 game. Kershaw stayed in rotation.
Swing and a miss by Martin Maldonado.
If there's ever a time for a catcher to do his job behind the plate and forget about his offense, this would be it for Maldonado. He's that good behind the plate. Back-to-back games that Ohtani has pitched, and he's been the catcher. I still think a lot of times he's got the catcher as well as the pitcher, but what a catcher does in certain situations can kind of dictate what he wants the pitcher to do.
Yeah, it's interesting. Catcher tendencies.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably just as important as pitcher tendencies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, there's a lot of times a catcher will call a pitch that he can't hit. And you say, well, okay, if I'm back here and he's hitting and he's not going to hit this slider, then I'm going to look for a slider when I'm at the plate. And that's a lot of times we'll do that. But I think going back to Benjamin Molina, and I've said it before, that whenever he was catching, he convinced the pitchers to throw breaking pitches in fastball counts, and they got comfortable doing it.
Just fine.
Comfortable and confident to the point, in the case of Irvin Santana, he goes to the Twins, he continues to do it.
Well, that's where you create that level of unpredictability.
Yeah.
That's where you, as I like to say, start flipping the script on them before they get to the final act. They have an idea of how this thing's going to play out and end, and then here you go, you drop an Uncle Charlie on them in a 2-1 piece, and they're going, I didn't have the numbers on that. What's going on?
Well, and Cap, we've talked about how all the numbers are there, and the hitters and pitchers, they each know what the other guy does. You know, and to Dallas's point, that if you can get unpredictable in a predictable situation, then it completely fools the hitters, because guys want to know the percentages, and you can't stand at the plate and say, okay, this is a 2-2 count. 38% of the time he's going to throw me a slider. What if he throws you a fastball? You going to be ready? And that's why I think, while scouting reports and tendencies are great, everybody knows what everybody does.
Yeah, the first game of every series, you'll see a room somewhere in the clubhouse where all the pitchers, the coaching staff, they get together and go over everything. All the scouting reports on each hitter.
And what's good in the case of last night, even though Jonathan Lucroy didn't catch, he was in on the meeting with Andrew Triggs and Bruce Maxwell. Maxwell's there as well. And you have it, what you do is you go over this. This is what the scouting report says, but this is what happened in the game. And now you start to think, well, let's not be predictable based on what the scouting report says.
Really, that scouting report is the baseline, because at some point in time, you have to figure out what you yourself are doing well, what's going well for you, what you're able to execute, and what you're not executing well. And at that point is when you deviate in real time.
That hit him. Ball ran in on Maldonado. He takes a long glance toward Kendall Graveman, still looking at him. Graveman looking back.
Hey, you get on top of the plate, things are going to happen. That's why Chad Pinder, we wish him well. He said he's a little bit too close, and they just go inside the ball, similar to what happened to Justin Turner. They broke his hand. Come on, what are you doing?
So Maldonado is aboard, and here's Ryan Schimm.
You know, there have been some guys that instead of walking better than hitting. I don't think, in the case of Kendall Graveman, that's one of the problems, that the ball is going side to side instead of sinking down.
Swing and a miss by Schimm. Schimm was called up yesterday, and he did pinch hit in the game last night. Acquired by the Angels on the 31st of March from Atlanta. The Angels sent catcher Carlos Perez, who is the Angels' backup catcher the last couple of years, sent him to the Braves. Schimm hit 14 home runs last year in 53 games for the Padres. That's the good news. The bad news is he hit just 158. Did he go? No. Check with Pat Holder.
What is that saying? Somebody, they dig the long ball?
He digs the long ball. A little bit of an all or nothing guy from what we understand.
Yeah, if you're looking at 158 average and 14 bombs, then
Let her rip.
Yeah.
Swing hard, you may hit it, right?
He contributed to that high strikeout, high home run season last year. Records in both categories.
On deck is the top of the order, Zach Kozar. The Angels today brought up 2 relief pitchers. They sent Akil Morris, who pitched in last night's game, they sent him back to the minor leagues, and they put J.C. Ramirez, the pitcher who started last night, on the disabled list. He came out after 2 innings, a little forearm was bothering him a little bit.
Well, the Andrew Bailey said that they checked the velocity. He's down about 6 miles per hour.
Yeah, he wasn't throwing very hard last night.
No, and maybe that's why Rivera called as many breaking pitches as he did, but maybe that also contributed to the tightness in his arm, as he threw a lot of breaking pitches.
And he talked about the elbow tightening up on him in the bullpen, warming up, and he felt like it was something he'd be able to work through. But we did see a lot of breaking balls early last night. And that absolutely, in my opinion, plays a role in why he finds himself on the DL today.
Angels brought up Felix Pena and Eduardo Paredes, 2 right-handed relievers. And so what you have right now, at least with the Angels, because of what their bullpen has had to deal with the 2 games in the series, they have 10 relievers and 3 starters, and they'll be able to do that for a couple more days. So it's a crowded bullpen right now.
Yeah, they don't have a starting rotation. They have a mash unit.
Yeah. So Ohtani, Richards, and Skaggs are their 3 starters, and Richards and Skaggs will pitch Monday and Tuesday. So that's the moves that were made today by the Angels.
And remember, J.C. Ramirez missed, I believe, 6 weeks at the end of last season with the flexor strain, with the potential elbow issue as well, stem cell therapy.
And the 3-2 pitch is low. So Graveman hits a batter and now walks a batter, and he does that to the 8th and 9th place hitters. So this is what the A's did today roster-wise. Boog Powell, that banged up knee, was placed on the disabled list, and Mark Canha was brought up. So the A's have made some changes the last couple days. Canha on their bench, Trace Thompson on their bench, and Franklin Barreto on their bench.
And for Kendall Graveman, 0-2 to Maldonado, hit him, and 0-2 to Schempp and walked him. So to your point, the bottom part of the batting order, and now you spin it at the top, which is not good. Still looking for the ground ball, and so far this season we've not seen a lot from Kendall Graveman, although 11 ground ball outs in his last start. But these are the times when you want the ground ball to get a double play to get out of the inning.
Cozart struck out in the first. Trout to follow. Hard hit ball. Simeon knocks it down to second for 1 on to first. Got him. Simeon hung with it. Nice turn by Jed Lowry, and the Angels do not score. California first-round matchup. It'll be the Sharks and the Anaheim Ducks. Game 1 at the Honda Center, which we can see it right now. It's right there. It's Mr. Duck.
They don't call it the pond anymore?
I don't know, maybe. I don't think so. But just on the other side of the freeway, you can see the Honda Center. So Sharks, Ducks, round 1. They don't like each other.
Well, we know if Brody is growing a beard. We know it's opposite.
Yeah, I hope it gets really long. That means
Juan Dorado's got one going too. Maybe
great Juan Dorado, yeah.
Maybe he's thinking it's going to be a
playoff beard.
Yeah. Or no razor.
1-1 the count to Lucroy. Piscotty to follow, and then Smolinski. Lucroy 269. He's got an RBI. He's looking for their first hit. See, there it is. That's right out over center field, across the freeway, the Honda Center.
It's like a pond to me.
Lucroy fouls at that.
See, Luke got a good fastball count, just missed the fastball, hitting it straight back, but he worked the count, a couple of splitters thrown that were out of the strike zone. Off day tomorrow. Luke is going to be heading home to see his baby. He's about a month old.
That's right.
So,
yeah, he had a busy week in Arizona. He signed with the A's and then became a father. Valbuena into foul territory, and he makes the catch. So that's out number 1. 7 in a row retired by Ohtani.
Seen him use that fastball early. Something to pay attention to is once he gets ahead with that heater, we're starting to see that split. We're starting to see the breaking balls come out, slider, especially in those 1-1 counts. We talk a lot about those conversion counts and the success of the pitcher, what those numbers reflect.
Piscotty at 212. He's got 5 RBIs. First pitch strike. Piscotty 1 for 6 in this series. He's got a couple of RBIs. And that one spins in there, and it's quickly 0-2. So Ohtani, who's been able to get ahead of hitters today, at least in the early part of this game.
and doing it with breaking pitches too. He's not just throwing a four-seam fastball to get ahead.
Swing and miss, struck him out. Strikeout number 5 for Ohtani, 2 away.
Well, split. Look at the location right over the top, and there's one that if you let go, it might be too low, but he's thrown hard. Look at the velocity and the bite, getting very confident throwing the splitter, and especially not trying to hit the corners, just throwing it down the middle. And a 6'3" frame throwing down the way he does, and the arm slot being the same.
When we talked about the fluidity of his windup, not very similar to a lot of the Japanese style pitchers you see come over. Got some pause and hesitation with that leg kick. There's a lot of fluidity, a lot of seamless transitions, and with his height, he would be able to benefit even more from throwing downhill. Not as much as we do see with him now. That's basically why I think a lot of the hitters feel the fastball, though it has the velocity, is very hittable because it's flat.
Yeah.
1-0 pitch to Smolinski right off the end of the bat, rolls toward the on-deck circle.
You might ask yourself, what's the difference between a fastball being flat and a guy creating angle hitters? And Foss, you can speak to this. Hitters trying to hit the top half of the ball is a heck of a lot harder than being able to see the entire baseball or underneath the baseball.
It's surprisingly how hitters now with a launch angle can get under a good sinker.
Oh,
that's the surprising part of the game today. And of course, if you have the uppercut swing and able to get under a ball, it's maybe guys are trying to elevate it a little bit more with the fastball.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
Smolinski tried to check his swing, couldn't do it. So now it's 2-2.
That was a perfect pitch. Fastball down knee high, even though it's down the middle of the plate. That's the location, right at the knees.
He could go a couple of different ways here with that emergency swing there. Could be the split. Could try to beat him to a spot with a heater.
They got him. 2 more strikeouts for Ohtani. He's got 6 strikeouts through the first 3 innings. Bottom of the 3rd coming up. 2-0 Angels.
Screen icons and features such as the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcast stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today.
Here's Trout. Trout blasts one to center.
He's 0 for what?
Smolinski is going to turn around, and that one up over the trees, and that's a home run. For no more.
And that wasn't a cheapie. That was smoked.
Number 3 for Trout on the year. That's the 3rd home run he's hit in his career against Graveman.
Well, Graveman's done a good job all afternoon, early on, getting ahead with that heater. First pitch, tries to cut it here against Trout. This thing just doesn't quite make its way to the outside part of the plate. Low box in the zone, and we know what Trout does early with balls down in the zone.
So here's Upton. He takes a first pitch strike. So that's the 5th home run that Kendall Graveman has allowed this year in 12 innings. So that's a bit of an alarming number.
Very, very much so. 4 against the Angels, a 3 opening day.
Most in the pitchers.
Kendall Graveman has to figure out a way to get the ball going down as a sink versus side to side. That was just a four-seamer, mid-90s down the middle.
Well, last year, Graveman, 105 innings, and he allowed 12 home runs.
It's about 1 every 9 innings.
That's not bad.
Now 1 a game, but that's not what's happening now.
Very close. Pretty good 0-2 pitch. In fact, that could have been a strike. Luke Croy, I think, is chatting with Jerry Davis. It looked like.
Well, he's talking, keeping his head forward, but you can see his motions with his arm. And you make a pitch, you want it. I mean, they're already down 3.
That's a fair ball. Chapman's got it across the diamond. A good throw, and Upton's out. So 1 out here in the bottom of the 3rd.
Well, we've seen Matt Chapman play every game, and talking to Andrew Bailey this morning, and he said in the coach's office this morning, all they were talking about, raving about Matt Chapman, the play he made last night on the bunt by Simmons. And he said maybe Singer could have done it, but not many could be able to do what Matt Chapman did last night on the bunt. As Simmons very smartly was trying to get on base to load the bases down by 4, but Chapman got a great jump on it, fielded it, and threw so hard from behind his ear. It's unbelievable. But that's a credit to Matt Chapman, as hard as he works, and now getting the recognition around baseball with teams and players and staffs who see him, and they are raving about it.
Albert Pujols doubled in a run in the 1st. This one will roll foul.
You know, I mentioned Nolan Arenado, and he went to the same high school, and I asked him, I said, did you play short when he played third? He said, no, Arenado was a shortstop. I went to the bench. He didn't play the first 2 years in high school because he was a sophomore, and Arenado was a senior, and basically Arenado played short, and then once he left, he started playing. So pretty good left side of the infield, but unfortunately for that high school team, they weren't playing together.
Well, my question there is, you couldn't find a spot for Matt Chapman somewhere as a
Exactly,
sophomore?
yeah.
I mean, what is he? Is it that you can't play as a sophomore rule, or what?
I'm guessing the defense was there. I'm guessing the juice was
Well,
there.
yeah,
Everything was there.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Was he not hitting as a sophomore? Did he make the JV team?
But you know, the great thing about him, and as good as he is and going to get better and better, he knows it's a very humbling sport, that there's going to be failures. And he said what happened Friday night was great to hear. He said, I knew I made the error, but I wasn't going to let it bother me forever, because I know errors are going to happen in the game. It's just how you recover from those. And he said the best part last night was,
Luke Croy will pick it up. He will not throw, and Pujols is going to be aboard.
well, that ball ran away, and it's just a question of whether it kept running, and Luke didn't think it was going to run that much, but he gets very upset when a ball gets by. And Albert Pujols reacted quickly enough, even with the bad wheels.
Sounds like a pass ball.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. Strike out and pass ball. Saw it in Oakland with Trout at the plate on the breaking ball. Strike 3.
So Pujols is aboard, and that'll bring up Cole Calhoun, who had an RBI single in the 1st. There's a strike.
Talk about pitching to the shift. Got 1 out here. Obviously, a slight hole on the right side opens up for Calhoun. See if we can attack him, force him to hit our pitch.
Well, that's the beauty of having a runner at first base, because typically the middle infielders will pitch closer to second for 2. It opens up the hole between first and second. And for a left-handed hitter, if there's ever a time to roll over, that's what he's trying to do, to hit the hole. And whether or not Albert goes to third remains to be seen, if it is a base hit to right field. But that's what the left-handed hitter tries to do.
That one drops a little bit low. 2-1 the count.
of those plays, Cap, that if ground ball hit to Chapman at third, it's got to be Semien covering because Jed Lowry's over too far, trying to turn a double play.
And that's probably a play that now, with most teams, you got to work on, because it's an unconventional, really an unconventional play for what would be Chapman's throw, because
that's right.
You're throwing to a spot, but the person is coming to the spot from a different angle.
That's right.
May not sound like a big deal, but it is a little bit different. Calhoun with the walk. So 3 walks for Kendall Graven. Not quite sharp today.
No, that's, you know, it's probably, Dallas as a starting pitcher could probably talk about, if you're unsuccessful a start in the second start, what do you do in the third start and the fourth start? Just try to get back to normal. And unfortunately, a couple of pitches today, probably ones that he has not wanted to throw, have ended up throwing, and just maybe thinking about trying to be too perfect.
Yeah, I think the idea is he's found himself ahead, but he hasn't been able to finish off an at bat. He gets to 2 strikes, elongated at bats.
Semien dives, he throws to third, and they got him.
That's a great play. And Cap, there's your anticipation right there.
Talk about having your head on a swivel, knowing where you need to be. He understands there's only going to be one play to be made here. That's going to be Semien laying out in the hole. I've got to get to third. I've got to cover up that bag. We've got a force here. He does an even better job of becoming a first baseman, something you're taught to do when the force is at your bag. You see there, he's in position, glove side towards Semien. Does a great job of picking it up when you got the machine barreling down on you at the hot corner. You know you got to get in and get out quickly, which he did.
The Albert about 240 pounds coming in.
Get your legs up.
But you know the one thing that you always enjoy, and we always talk about as a catcher, you always remind infielders, get dirty. On a ground ball, runner scoring position, whether or not, I mean, he got the out, which is huge, but what Marcus Semien did in diving for the ball, he got dirty, but he was going to prevent a run from scoring by just stopping the ball, ends up getting a big out at third, which is even better. That's when you want to see guys diving. Right there. And then Albert realized what was happening, and he went in very, very strongly, and to the point that looked like Chapman grabbed his backside after the impact. That's a big out. What could have been an RBI single, could have been bases loaded, 1 out. Now, because the play is 2 outs in first and second.
Valbuena popped out to Lowry, his first at bat. That was in the second inning. Headed for the upper deck.
And again, Marcus Semien, ball in the hole, and he talked about because of Chapman at third, he can pitch a little bit closer towards the middle, but he was there anyway because of the possibility of a ground ball for a double play. But by diving, see the uniform dirty, that's the best thing to see on a player in the infield, especially. With a ground ball, catch it, knock it down to prevent a run from scoring. You've done your job and just added to it with the out.
Just a little bit low. So 69 pitches for Graven, so he's thrown a lot of pitches so far in this game.
That's kind of what the point I was trying to make. He gets ahead early. Now you find yourself in a 2-1 count. You're on your 4th pitch of the at-bat. You'd like to have him out of there in 3 or less.
Valbuena cannot hold up there. So 2-2 the count. Calhoun at second, Simmons at first. Pretty good speed on the bases for the Angels. And they'll be on the move. Crack of the bat with 2 outs. Semien shifted behind second base. That one's grounded to Chapman. Tough play. Chapman stays with it and throws in time. Tough little hop for Matt Chapman, and he stayed with it and made a nice play. Trout with a home run. It's 3-0 Angels.
Black Panther. Oakland A's and Marvel are proud to release a glow-in-the-dark Black Panther bobblehead in honor of the city of Oakland and hometown hero and director Ryan Coogler. Fans can snag this one-of-a-kind bobblehead on Saturday, May the 5th. It's against the Baltimore Orioles, brought to you by Comerica Bank. We want 15,000 fans get yours upon entering the ballpark. Visit athletics.com/promotion to grab your piece of Oakland history. Seen the movie?
You know what? I haven't, and I really want to because I heard it's awesome.
Yeah, that makes two of us.
Yeah.
So my wife at home, if you're listening, movie type.
What do you mean if she's listening?
Get your tickets early.
I expect her to be doing.
That's right. That's right, Falls.
How about this? Has not a lot of hits since the second inning last Sunday. Retired the last 17 straight athletic hitters.
Well, the last hit was Matt Chapman's home run.
That's right. Because it was 14 out of 15 after that, right? I think there may have been a walk in there. Is that correct?
Joyce opposite field hit. Piscotty opposite field hit. Chapman a hanging 3-run home run and a curveball. And that's it. So everything after that, he retired. Didn't walk about it. Yeah, he did walk Matt Joyce, but other than that, retired everybody. No hits. It's not that good. Yeah, he is.
And Joyce is retired. Well, I think the key today, anyways, and see if you guys agree with me, is he's getting ahead of the hitters, and then he can put them away. Because if you're behind in the count on this guy, he has a wipeout pitch.
Oh, yeah, it's a combination of two things. One, the presence of that wipeout split finger fastball, but two, specifically the location of the fastball. And we talked about it at the beginning of the telecast, him pitching right out of that same spot or that same tunnel. So you saw it early. Fastball's low, splitter off of that, down out of the zone, tough to lay off.
And you know, guys, let's not forget 2 runs in the first inning.
Yeah.
After he struck out the side, he gets 2 in the first, and they had 1 more, so it's 3-0. And you know, he knew probably signing with this club for a number of reasons. Gets to pitch in this kind of weather, play in this weather. But also, his club's going to score runs. And if he can do his job pitching, he's got a chance to be a part of their offense, which we've seen. And Mike Scioscia, the manager, gets a chance to see the club score runs when he's on the mound.
One and 2. What he's doing today, at least so far, is a big relief to Mike Scioscia.
Yeah.
Just from a starting pitcher, give me some innings standpoint. Got him swinging. That is number 7 for Shohei Ohtani. So 2 away. Another pitcher-hitter note. The last player to start as a pitcher and a non-pitcher within the same season, Rick Rhoden of the Yankees in 1988 made 30 starts on the mound and 1 start as the designated hitter. He was a very, very good hitter. But I think his situation much more different. He was a pitcher who just happened to be a good hitter.
Yeah.
Bumgarner's a pitcher who just happened to be a good hitter. Yeah. This guy is a pitcher and a hitter.
Right. Yeah, this is about the only participant I could stomach in a all-pitcher home run derby. I understand those big boys like to lift off. Mad Bum, Arrieta, a lot of the guys across the league that savvy themselves hitters. This man here, a little different.
And he's, you know, the book's going to be out at him for a while as far as can he ultimately hit big league pitching. Again, he's got 3 home runs, but there has not been the adjustment period yet, and we'll see how that goes. But he certainly is a legitimate hitting prospect. Cozart handles a little tough hop out in shallow right field, throws out Lowry. 12 up, 12 down for Shohei Ohtani, and Angels crowd is on its feet as he heads back to the dugout. 3-0 Angels. 2 in the first, and then a Trout home run in the third. It'll be Maldonado, Schimpf, and Cozart. Maldonado hit by a pitch that was in the second inning. He was not real happy about that.
So what do you think would happen if he gets hit in this inning? Like the first pitch or drill him. You don't like it? Here it is again.
Easy, easy, you two. Easy, tough guys. You ex-players, drill them.
Just letting you know we're here.
Yep.
Well, you know, Kai, you've heard me at certain guys say you don't deserve to be hit because you don't want to put you on base.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, earn your way. No walks, no hit batter, just swing the bat. Try to get on that way.
So here's Schimpf, who walked in the second inning.
But unfortunately, in the game, modern game, that every pitcher knows I have to have both sides of the plate. I can't just have one because it changes exactly the way the hitter approaches the game. But you see so often that if a pitch is thrown inside, you go, oh, what are you doing? Well, I got part of it too, because that makes the outside very important. One of the worst when he's with the White Sox with the A's in 2006, Frank Thomas. Anything inside, man, he threw his arms up, and 6'8", 300 pounds, you don't want to mess around with him.
Two 2-0 the count to Schimpf. Pregame 75 pitches.
Well, unfortunately, for Pregame with that number, and Ohtani 43 through the 4 innings, so it's considerably different. And to your point, well taken, Kai, that he's getting ahead, putting guys away.
Well, the A's bullpen is in a little better shape, although there's some reinforcements for the Angels. But the A's bullpen, 8 total innings in this series. I got him for 97 pitches on Friday, 49 pitches last night total by the A's bullpen. Trinan probably not available today.
Well, Dallas, did you talk to anybody? Because I know Bob Melvin is going to wait and see, and Blake pretty much said he's going to throw and see how he feels, and that's usually the way it goes. But times have changed in that regard. But we shall see.
And boss, that's pretty much how the conversation went again. We understand you don't want to reveal your hand. You might want to not let everybody in on what's going on, but you're right. That's usually what would happen is you get to the yard, maybe you've worked a few days in a row, and it's a touch and feel type of situation. If it wasn't an elongated outing, you didn't throw X amount of pitches, you might be able to bounce back. So it is. You get to the yard, you play catch, see how you feel. And if I know Blake, he's absolutely let his manager know I'm available if you need me.
Well, especially with the off day tomorrow too, and the off day Thursday. So
right.
But I think also with what Bob Melvin said after the game, he said we had to win this game.
Yep.
They should have won Friday. Let that one get away, and he said we had. That's why Blake came in the 8th inning, and he was tempted to send somebody else out in the 9th. He said, but you know what? Trout deserves a save. He pitched the 8th, which is a save situation, scored an extra run.
Ozark shoots one up the middle for a base hit. Also, Buchter had pitched in both games in this series, and Pagan. So those are the 3 guys that have pitched in both games. But again, it doesn't mean that they couldn't, if need be, go stay for a little bit.
You can see here, Raymond trying to bring that fastball back over on the black away. This thing just catches too much part of the plate. I've said it before, and we'll say it again. Fastballs in real estate, location, location, location.
So a mound visit for Scott Emerson.
And Kai, look at the bottom of the order.
Yeah.
Schimpf, who was called up last night, he pinched hit, struck out. Today he's walked twice.
Walked twice.
Yep. Walked twice. And that's not. It's not something that you want to see. And again, nothing against Schimpf, but he hasn't been up here. He's not Marte. He's not Valbuena. He came up because of an injury, and he gets a chance to start. But bottom line, he set the table twice. Now he's at second base. Pretty impressive note on Mike Trout. 200 home runs, 700 runs scored. which puts him in some pretty elite categories before the age.
He scored a pair of runs today.
I didn't want to talk about that one. that was on his own. But he's got 701. Won the 700. They announced the 200 home runs, 700 runs batted in.
A walk and the homer.
That's what makes him the complete player, because he can get on base, and when he does, he scores because of his speed. A lot of times, you know, Ebel, I mean, don't even think about third base coaching him that he's going to stop. Well, if you're a low ball hitter, that's what can happen to a low ball. Try to get ahead with a fastball over the trees. I mean, up into the artificial surface up there in center field.
Inside.
And I think that's what the conversation was about. Pitching coach Scott Emerson made his trip. Hey, let's crowd him. Let's not give him anything out over the heart of the plate early that he can extend on. If we can get ahead, let's force him to hit our pitch again. Different pitch, different location. If you're going to double up, you got to switch it up.
A little flare, that's going to be trouble, and that's going to fall. Chip read it well. He's going to score. And going over to third is Cozart, and Trout's having a big game, and it's 4-0 Angels.
Well, it just did not quite work out. Work out for Mike Trout to get out of Anaheim. There's a pitch inside, and he just fought it off inside out. And you're right, Chip, who walked with one out to start the inning, read it perfectly, and Bob Melvin's going to the bullpen. Wow. Very disappointed for Kendall Graveman.
So Graveman, 3 1/3 innings today. And when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. It's your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake experts.
By Toyota, designed for the grind that comes through every time. See your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places. By Southwest Airlines, low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Xfinity, X1 will change the way you experience TV.
So Kendall Graveman, 3 1/3 innings today, 5 hits, 4 runs so far. So Kendall Graveman has not been able to find the groove just yet. 3 kind of rocky starts for Graveman to start this 2018 season. So here's Liam Hendricks. He pitched on Friday night, 2/3 of an inning. Did not give up any runs. Overall, his 4th appearance.
I think you don't like are 4 walks.
Nope.
4 walks and 3 1/3, and it makes you wonder if Bob Melvin, normally you'd keep Pregame in for a ground ball, try to get a double play to get out of the inning. But I think he's a little concerned about whether he's going to get a ground ball.
Upton pulled off that one.
Now, Cap, one thing we've seen too, and with Upton now hitting behind Trout, whereas in the past it was Pujols, first and third, Trout would be stealing to try to stay out of a double play, because Albert, if he had a ground ball, is usually going to be there. Now with Upton, he has the speed for the big man, and he also doesn't necessarily have to worry about being doubled up.
Yeah, that's a good point. It sort of adds a little different dynamic to the Angels lineup.
But boy, you'd see first and third, and you'd think, oh, double play, then all of a sudden Trout takes off, and there's no chance, because he can pretty much steal when he wants to. Pregame will stick around and take a watch and see what happens in this inning and try to figure it out. A couple of off days, he's got extra time. We'll see what the manager decides to do. Go with a 4-man rotation with 2 off days, and on a 5th day would be Friday, but since Monday and Thursday are off, we'll see what he does.
Talk about staying out of that double play, 1-1 count. Liam Hendriks, guy likes to throw a slider, likes to bounce it, put it in the dirt. Could be a time we see Trout move.
He's got a pretty good lead. Not going. Swinging and a miss. 1-2. So Liam Hendriks snapped off a couple of good breaking balls. Lucroy comes out in front of home plate. You see a catcher do that when there's runners on the corners. You got to have everybody on the same page in the infield in case Trout does take off.
Well, the Angels do a lot of different things running wise, and you have to be concerned about the runner at third. If the throw goes through, does he start to run? And as a catcher, do you fake the second?
There he goes. And Troy blocks it. So it'll be a stolen base for Trout. And eliminates the ground ball double play chance.
See, just a great jump. Fundamentally sound, the crossover step. No up and down with the back foot. Lucroy really does a great job of, again, we talked about it time and time again this series, blocking the ball, keeping it in front of them, saving the run. Guy at third.
Difference now, the double play, no possibility, so the infield has to come in. So the strikeout would be great from Liam Hendriks right now.
2-2 pitch is fouled just to our right in the booth right next door.
That came in hot, JR.
Yeah, it was coming in hot.
Jose Mota just cool up there. You know, he didn't move.
Well, everybody's smiling over there, so I think everybody's okay.
Yeah, they got the recovery. They picked it up after it hit behind hard.
I don't have any problem with that.
No way. He'll be a hero.
And now full count. Pujols is the on-deck hitter.
Well, Lucroy has gotten 3 blocks in this one at bat with breaking balls in the dirt, and why not try it again instead of challenging? Go with the slider, and first base is open. Albert, get him to hit a ground ball. That could be 2 to get out of the inning. They already scored 4. You don't want to let them have more.
Long look in by Liam Hendriks. Now he's ready. That one is hit high in the air, shallow center. Smolinski waits. Kozart tags, and Kozart's going to try to score. The throw to the plate is just a little bit late. It was a good throw, but the ball was just a little bit too deep. Kozart scores, so give Upton a sacrifice fly, and it's 5-0.
But ideally, you'd like to see an outfielder get behind the ball and charge it in. Sometimes the sun can factor in, but it looked like watching Jake Smolinski, and you have to realize the Angels are always going to try. See how he reached up and caught it, then had to gather himself. If you get behind the ball and you charge in and catch it that way, then you have your momentum going to the plate. Not surprising, Trout went to third.
And Upton gets his 9th RBI. So with 2 outs, here's Albert Pujols. Pujols doubled in a run in the first and then struck out, but reached on a pass ball. That was in the third. See if Olsen has a play. Maybe.
Got room.
It's an out in Oakland.
Routine out.
See, it's a typical pitcher down there saying you got room, you got room. The guy runs into the sidewall.
It's a good effort though by some Oakland A's fan down there. Solid effort. You know, if you can have a fan helping you out on whether it's a foul ball, that's what more do you want? Dave Kaval, A's president, enjoying the ball game right behind the A's dugout. Got a good seat.
Should have. Hey Mickey, I'm coming to Oakland. I'm coming to Anaheim. Can you get me a seat? Where do you want to sit, Dave? Behind the dugout. Okay.
Enjoying the ball game. Somewhere, somehow in there, though, Dave's working.
Yeah.
This one is a fair ball. Chapman's got it. Circles around the bag, makes a good throw to first side. Retired. 2 runs on a couple of hits, a walk, a sac fly for the Angels. 5th inning coming up. It's now 5-0 Angels.
How about Shohei Ohtani? Second start in his major league career. Second start against the A's, back-to-back Sundays. He's got run support as he did last Sunday. And he's got a great split finger fastball today. Mixed the pitches well. And he has a perfect game through 4 innings as he starts the 5th inning. But he has been spectacular. Sellout crowd on hand today, although a bunch of the seats in the upper locations, left field and right field, are not quite filled in. But maybe some no-shows. But they did announce a sellout. Maybe those are the little leaguers that got back in their buses and took off. Had to parade around the field and said, we're out of here.
So Chris Davis leads it off. He swings at the first pitch and misses. Davis, Olsen, and Chapman for the A's here in the 5th. No walks, 7 strikeouts for Ohtani. The A's do not have a hit yet. It's 0-2. Chris Davis hit a fly ball to center field in the 2nd inning. This is 1 for 9 in the series, struggling some. 3 for his last 26. So we have not seen a hot streak from Chris Davis yet, but it'll come.
Now to go back to 2 years ago, first home run was on April 21st. Hit 3 for the Yankees. Last year hit a home run spring training, hit 2 opening night. 42 and 16, 43 and 17. So not a bad recovery for Chris Davis. Because when he gets hot, he can use the whole field, and home runs go out everywhere that he hits.
Maldonado asked for a high fastball, and Ohtani gave it to him at 98 miles an hour.
Actually, Chris Davis can hit a home run right now and break up the no-hitter, the perfect game, the shutout, everything in one swing of the bat.
You talk about to all fields, Foss, Oppo Taco, I'm in.
Yeah.
Got it. Strikeout number 8 for Ohtani.
Well, I talked about it, guys. Oppo Taco didn't quite come to fruition.
You have a taco, though?
But one of the best parts about the seats here in the house is I get to make some friends here. I've got a taco, and I'm going to see if I can muster up some juju here for the boys and scratch one across.
But just don't yell that everything's okay with a foul ball, that you're banging up your knee when your first baseman's coming over hard, too.
Noted.
So is that a Oppo Taco that you're eating?
Well, I don't have much control over that, but the energy is there, let me tell you.
Good. Carbs. Get your carbs.
Straight taco. Regardless, Oppo, pool, doesn't matter. It's a taco.
0-1 to Matt Olson. He struck out in the 2nd. 0-2.
Because he must split again, he's going to strike out again. I mean,
Seems
that's
like he's 0-2 to every hitter.
Yeah. Had a 3-2 count to KD in the 2nd, and he lined out to left center field. Other than that, 3-2 count to Marcus Semien, struck him out in the 1st, and that's it. You're right.
Cozart, the 2nd baseman, out in shallow right. Swing and a miss, struck him out. 99 miles an hour, so no splitter there, just a straight heater. And Olson strikes out.
Well, after the swing and misses on the splitters, he just said, "Okay, I got a little extra here," and he did. You can see the follow through, and
he's got a quick arm, doesn't he?
He does, and it's very impressive. And to get an 0-2 fastball at 98, a little difficult to catch up.
18 balls, 42 strikes. Pitch count is good, 60.
Well, he's faced 14 batters, and he has 3, 5, 6, 8, 10 first pitch strikes, making 11. So 0-2 to Davis, strikeout. 0-2 to Olson, strikeout.
The hardest hit ball today by the A's, no question, was Chapman in the 2nd. He had a line drive toward left field that Upton caught.
See Trout doing something now that you like to see with 2 strikes. He went from left center to right center.
Yep.
With 2 strikes.
That's a lot, folks. 20 swings and misses in 4 2/3 innings. That's unbelievable.
That's a ton, especially when you think about last time out against Oakland, 24 splits total in the game, 10 swing and misses on that pitch.
And that one inside. The last hit Ohtani gave up was that 3-run homer.
Hanging breaking ball. Not a bad pitch down and away, but Chapman got it. Those are the 3 hits, and that's all he's given up.
2nd inning on Sunday. Got him swinging. Ohtani strikes out the side. He's got 10 strikeouts, and he's retired the first 15 in a row today. They're getting into it in Anaheim. 5-0 Angels.
Sox. And the Red Sox come to Oakland first. It's 3 games starting April the 16th. That's a week from tomorrow. That's against the White Sox, followed by a 3-game weekend series that starts on April the 20th. That's against the Red Sox. First 20,000 fans get the Matt Chapman Kelly Green replica jersey on Green Friday, April the 20th. Get yours at athletics.com/tickets. Today, better do it. Get it fast. It's a great jersey. White Sox, Red Sox coming to the Coliseum for their only visit 2018 season. Should be a lot of fun. The Red Sox Nation will be on hand when the Red Sox come in.
I think the A's Nation's going to be on hand Tuesday night.
Absolutely.
Against the White Sox.
Big time.
That's the free ticket giveaway game. Maybe a few people there. Here's Cole Calhoun against Daniel Coulomb. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. First appearance for Coulomb in this series. Coulomb and Hatcher, the 2 guys who have not pitched in this series. Seeing Coulomb here, and you know what? We'll probably see Hatcher as well. With the off day tomorrow, Bob's going to want to get these guys an inning to work somewhere.
He may do what Mike Soja did on Friday, just run different guys out there every inning.
Quickly 0-2 to Cole Calhoun.
And he won't do it to try to get work. He's going to do it for matchups, trying to keep the Angels from scoring more runs and see if his offense can do something against Ohtani, which for 5 innings, they've done nothing.
Calhoun has singled in a run and he has walked. So Calhoun 3 for 9 in the series.
Calhoun, another guy in this lineup looking to have a bounce back year. I believe statistically one of the worst, if not the worst year of his career last year.
Well, let's see. Calhoun last year 244, so the average down quite a bit. 19 homers, 71 RBIs, 23 doubles. So yeah, I think across the board statistically it was probably his worst year.
How many at bats?
569. He played 155 games.
Thank you. That says it all right there. That means lefties, righties, he's going to play because he's a great defender. And their outfield right now with Calhoun, Trout, and Upton from right to left, it's pretty consistent.
Yeah.
They're going to play.
Well, the last 3 years Calhoun has played in 159 games, 157, 155. So he goes out there every day.
That's right. And you're only going to get better if you play. You're not going to help yourself if you're sitting.
Lowry slides to his right and throws out Cole Calhoun for out number 1.
Just wonder how many players Brandon Moss talked about the shift and how it affected his game, and maybe even got him out of the game because he hit that hole between first and second with a second one place in right field. He said, I can't do it, and tried to change his swing going opposite field, and he did quite well when he first was with the Athletics going opposite field. But that changed.
So here's Andrelton Simmons. Simmons has hit a fly ball to right field and reached on a fielder's choice. So 2 for 11 in this series. Fastball just missed high, 2-0. So Liam Hendricks goes 2/3 of an inning. And that's going to be a base hit to left field. Hit number 6 for the Angels.
Predictable 2-0 fastball, and Simmons didn't miss it.
You mentioned, Foss, 2-0, you're sitting dead red, something out over the heart of the plate. Usually doesn't pan out for the pitcher, as we see here. Does have an opportunity with Valbuena here to get two outs, 1 pitch, see if he can get something rolled up.
always nice on the 2-0, 3-1, 3-2. If you've got a fastball, it's a certain velocity. If you can back off just to fool a hitter a little bit, maybe he's going to get out in front and pull it to third versus in the hole between third and short. With the fastball pretty much max effort by Daniel Coulomb. Or Danny Coulomb. Gosh. I want to be called Danny.
Yeah, and that approach, Foss, is, I mean, lots of different names for it. Subtraction fastball, dead fish, as I like to refer to it as. It just sort of floats up there. It's the same arm speed, same hand speed. Maybe a little more movement with the lack of velocity, but not quite the changeup.
Best one I ever caught that could do that, left-handed pitcher by the name of Kenny Holtzman.
Right field, Piscotty into the corner. He's going to have room, and he makes the catch. Simmons stays at first.
But I would, with Kenny Holtzman, I'd call a fastball. I'd take my glove hand and my right hand and just split them about a foot and a half. I'd say take that much off. Sure. And in his mind, it was that just backing off the fastball. I want to say he pitched the game against the Orioles in the playoffs, something like 110 pitches, one curveball. 109 just back and forth, back and forth. I mean, seriously, you look at the hitters. They're out in front, they're back, because they didn't know what velocity the pitch was going to be, and that's how effective just a simple fastball can be. But if I gave the sign as a changeup, for some reason his mind, it was okay, I have to do something differently. But all he did is just pull the string unintentionally, and his fastball was one of the best I've ever seen. Plus, kind of the dead fish.
And what stories like that should do for folks at home that are listening, for young kids that are watching and listening at home, is it really shows you the value and importance of location, not necessarily velocity. Because hey, if you're going to give me 98 as opposed to 88, I'll take your 98. But if you're going to give me the ability to spot up and command my 88, I'll take that any day.
Any day. Yeah, velocity's great, but if it's straight, it's hittable. It's not a major league hitter. It's not going to hit. I don't care what velocity it is, if it's hard and straight. I can still see the great Hall of Famer Brooks Robinson. Forward, back. I mean, just 3-1, 3-2. He didn't know what was coming. He'd start and stop. And
plus, it's the same pitch.
Yeah,
so he's not it's coming out of the same spot.
Same slot every pitch. It just, he backed off. Foot and a half, as I called it, but velocity-wise, I don't know what it was. But from his mindset, it was a perfect pitch.
So on the 0-2 pitch, Maldonado strikes out, side retired. Simmons stranded at first. Sixth inning coming up, 5-0 Angels.
By the Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid, America's first hybrid minivan. Test drive one today.
So it's 5-0. Angels leading the A's. Lots of zeros in that A's column. So that is the story right now. Shohei Ohtani has retired the last 23 straight A's hitters, dating back to last Sunday.
If you're going to bunt, do it now. Don't want to go much later than this.
So it is the top of the 6th inning. Lucroy, Piscotty, Smolinski, 65 pitches for Ohtani. He's got 10 strikeouts.
You know what this, they were saying is in a game like this, hey, come on, let's get him in the stretch. Pitch another stretch from pitch number
right.
1.
That's a good call.
So he's not going to change if he does get somebody on base.
And he falls behind 2-0, which he has not done much of today, if at all.
Ball on the field. We'll take that out here in Anaheim. Anything to delay.
Well, if you're at Angel Stadium, that will happen often. They're flying around. It's just a matter of how many end up on the field.
There's a strike. 2-0 on the count. 95 miles an hour.
Oh, the way Upton's playing, they don't feel that they're, first of all, going to make contact with the splitter in left field where Upton's playing, or better yet, they're not going to get around on his 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Because they're giving a lot of space down the left field line, playing a lot of hitters, right-handers to the right side.
So 2-2 the count. Lucroy fouled out to first in the 3rd inning. Ohtani, long look in, now he's ready. Pitch number 70 coming up. Here it is. And a full count. Struck out 3 in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, 3 in the 5th.
3rd 3-2 count. He's got a strikeout and a line drive to center by KD. See what happens with Jonathan Lucroy. You know, when you got a lead like this, it's 5-0. You got a no-hitter. You got a perfect game. Do you try to go for the no-hitter? You try to go for the perfect game. No-hitter would be trying to throw a splitter. And if it's in the dirt, you don't worry about it. Challenge it. Why not?
Calhoun in and over. Waiting. He's got it. 1 out.
It was at 98. And if you've got that in your pocket, why wouldn't you?
And that's the idea, Foss, is I know a lot of guys start to think about, oh, it's creeping into his head, this and that and the other. No, look, his ultimate goal, his objective is to get out number 1, out number 2, out number 3, and continue to pitch from there. And to your point, 98 in the gas tank, you're up 5.
Yeah.
It's getting late in the ball game. Let's see what we got. Challenge fastball.
That one cued slowly. Kozar charges. He's got it, and that's the 2nd out. Well, Piscotty hit that one right off the end of the bat.
But this is a case type that not only around baseball in the U.S., this is in Tokyo where they're saying a perfect game through 5 2/3 innings for Shohei Ohtani.
It's probably 20 times bigger deal there than it is here. Maybe even more. I'm just throwing out a
I would say the audience right now, I don't know what time it is in Tokyo. I think it was 4 or 5 in the morning. When he pitched last Sunday. So probably looking at that, creeping up on breakfast time.
Here's Smolinski.
Remember when Ichiro first played here, and they were watching TV, they were all over the place, and that's as a position player. Ohtani, I mean, they get to watch both as a position player and pitcher.
And he went. Smolinski tried to hold up, couldn't do it. So it's 0-2.
Talked about it all day, throwing that split off of that fastball. That well-located heater down. Smo just unable to check. Big, strong fella, not able to get it done there.
So the crowd rises to its feet with the count 0-2. They are into it. Oh, 2 pitch. Swing and a miss, struck him out. 11 strikeouts for Ohtani. He is perfect through 6. Bottom of the 6th coming up, 5-0 Angels. Is the place to be today. A big crowd on hand, and that crowd is starting to buzz a little bit.
They sell beer all the way through the center.
Do you feel like you need one, Dallas? Dallas, when the opposition has a perfect game going, Dallas gets a little itchy, and I don't blame them. We can't have that, Dallas.
We all get itchy. I don't want that to happen.
One and one the count to Schimpf, who has walked twice and scored a run. Astros won today 4-1 over the Padres, so the Astros take 2 out of 3 from San Diego and improve their record to 8-2.
Padres might have still been thinking about the pop-up 20 feet from home plate to Atlanta for the game winner.
How could you not? Charlie Morton, 6 innings. Charlie Morton was either 5th starter. There's not a lot of run this season.
There's a lot of talk about the addition of Garrett Cole and what that meant to that rotation. A full season of Verlander under your belt as well. Charlie Morton, ho-hum at the back end, getting it done.
The Astros, listen to this though, you guys. The Astros are headed to Minnesota for a 3-game series starting tomorrow night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Now today in Minnesota, the Mariners and the Twins were supposed to play. They did not. It got postponed just due to straight cold weather.
Cold in Minnesota?
Yesterday, the Mariners and the Twins did play. It was 27 degrees.
No.
And they played the whole game. They got it in. I believe the Mariners won. That one is driven. Right center. Smolinski's going to watch it go.
Wow.
Chip homer, 6-0.
Well, we saw it last night when Buchter gave up the home run to Valbuena, lefty on lefty. He came out, and now Bob Melvin out after Coulomb gives up a home run to Chev, hanging breaking ball. I mean, when you throw a slow breaking ball like that, you're allowing the hitter to say, okay, I can make an adjustment. He did. And for a young man hitting 9th today, he's walked twice, scored 2 runs, and one of the runs is on this home run, a solo shot to right center field. Unbelievable.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. It's your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake experts.
Where are they going?
They ought to be walking in.
Thank you. They should be filling up those upper tanks in the left and right.
So Yusmeiro Petit comes in. He is pitcher number 4. Yusmeiro Petit, his 6th appearance. Had a tough outing on Friday night. Pitched an inning, gave up 5 hits and 2 runs. It's hit hard, but right to Lowry. Cozart's retired. That's the first out here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
I think disappearance by Yusmeiro Petit. You would not expect to see him in a 6-0 game. I think it would be just as much maybe Bob Melvin trying to get him on track, because I don't know that he's been the pitcher that he wants to be, and maybe just getting some time in a stadium where he's familiar, because he pitched here for a couple of years for the Angels. But now with the Athletics and a very important member of the bullpen, to be able to go multiple innings, and I just think every time he can go out there and have success, then it's going to be good for he and the A's.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy that the A's very much need him to be good.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. Pagan's been pitching well. This guy can go multiple innings. But Petit is key, because he is a swingman. He can do a lot of different things.
It's not necessarily a matter of keeping the ball game here. Obviously, we understand that's your job. You come into the game. You're not in the business of giving up runs, but you like to polish some things up, clean some things up, and you know what? A pretty good barometer in this lineup here. Aggressive in the zone, aggressive around the zone. So if you can figure some things out against a Angels lineup that appears to be swinging it well, you might have some things figured out on the other side of this off day coming up.
You know, I think a lot of players on both sides, offense and pitching, all trying to. I mean, we're only 10 games into the season. You know, and everybody wants to try. I mean, with Trout, what'd you say? 0 for whatever coming into this game. He's got a couple of hits and a walk. But you know, it's a long season ahead, and worst thing you want to do is get off to a poor start and battle uphill. But sometimes in the case of 6-0 deficit right now, the guy pitching a perfect game, you know, it's not like you're not going to try, whether the Angels trying to continue to hit or the A's trying to come back. There's a purpose for every game, every at bat, every pitch, whatever it might be. Purpose right now is trying to figure this guy out. As he's had the A's numbers, of course, he's only faced the A's the 2 games that he started, but he's been pretty spectacular. A lot of scouts watching today, giving the reports on Shohei Ohtani.
I like to read those reports.
Yeah.
A little bit outside, so now it's a full count to Trout.
I tell you, regardless of what the reports say, I think today and what we saw earlier in Oakland this year is just a matter of execution, frankly. It's 98. We know the split, but he's executed. He's gotten ahead early today, so.
Trout swings and misses. Petit gets Trout for the second out.
Talked about challenging guys here. Good job by Petit. Locate the heater away. Not going to blow anybody away as far as velocity is concerned, but again, if you can move the baseball around, expand with the heater away, you might have a chance.
That says a lot about an 89-mile-an-hour fastball striking out a pretty good hitter.
Yep.
And it's the good location away, a little bit up, and maybe Mike Trout tried to make it a 2-home-run game instead of being the natural that it was in his second at bat.
Upton rolls over on that one. Simeon across the diamond side retired. Chimp with a home run. So as we head to the 7th inning from the Big A, 6-0 Angels.
on the Oakland hitters from the get-go, and it's been with a steady diet of split-finger fastballs paired with that high-octane fastball that everybody has come to know from Shohei Ohtani. So it's been a matter of getting ahead early, forcing the action, and hopefully, just hopefully, the Oakland Green and Gold can get something going against Shohei Ohtani here late in the ballgame.
Well, it needs to start now. Joyce, Simeon, Lowry, the top of the order in the 7th inning. Important number to keep an eye on is the pitches, 75. So the pitch count's not bad.
Right, it's good enough to not have to pressure a manager pitching coach.
No, not yet anyways. First pitch to Matt Joyce, swing and a miss. Although I'm sure that Mike Scioscia, Charles Nagy keeping a close eye on that pitch count. As Ray mentioned earlier, he threw 92 pitches in his first start. Joyce, a strikeout and a ground out to first. Matt Joyce steps out a little bit, which not a bad idea. And at this point, you're trying to break his rhythm in any way possible. Joyce, a line drive right to Simmons, kind of a soft line drive. So that's out number 1 here in the 7th inning, and came on just 2 pitches.
Again, talking to Andrew Bailey this morning and talking about Ohtani, he said he is one who wants all the information. He studies, and that's pretty impressive for a young player pitcher coming over. But he wants to know all the information, so Andrew tries to compile as much information about, let's say, the athletics as he can. And of course, then they translate it into Japanese where he can't understand. But he's got binders and studies a lot. So that's impressive for the young man.
That one just missed. It's 2-0. Very close pitch.
Sillock crowd wants everything.
You know, I kind of remember talking to Eric Chavez earlier this year, the opening series, and he talked about Ohtani almost to a fault, loving the game of baseball.
And that's a base hit. So Simeon gets the first hit for the A's, a line drive to left field. And a standing ovation, well deserved for Shohei Ohtani. What a surprise, he got behind in the count.
Yeah.
It was 2-0.
Well, 2-0 to throw a fastball, which maybe not the true fastball that we've seen when he's blown guys away 3-2. So 6 1/3 of perfect baseball in Marcus Simeon. And you know what? Now Dallas Braden, our partner downstairs, throw a perfect game. Nobody wants to be a part of a perfect game, no hitter. You know, and right now the A's are trailing, and you know that's a big sigh of relief to get on the board, get a hit, get a base runner. And now maybe something can happen late in the game because you may see the bullpen. And now the pitch count becomes part of Ohtani's game and something that Charles Nagy and Mike Scioscia might look at a little bit more seriously.
And something else to pay attention to with Ohtani now. We understand maybe he's not paying attention to the actual event, to the occurrence of what was going on. Now that the hit's out of the way, does he start to nibble and nitpick, or does he continue to go after guys? Does he continue to attack?
A little bit low, 2-0 with a fastball.
Well, same count as Simeon had, and here's the pitch that Simeon got on 2-0, the pitch that broke up the perfect game. And a fastball. Marcus did not try to do too much, just a nice easy swing. Line drive, and you know, look for a fastball, you get it, you do something with it. That's what happened.
Lowry has struck out and he has grounded out. And that one way in the dirt. So now it's 3-0 as Lowry had to skip out of the way.
And this is kind of what I was talking about. You've got that knock out of the way. Clearly it's something that was on his mind. Now the ability to get in the zone and continue to repeat somehow mysteriously escapes you. And now you start to struggle.
And now the bullpen's starting to move around a little bit. And as our great friend, the Hawk Harrelson, would say, cancel the press conference. The Hawk. He would say that every time a guy deep in a game gives up a hit.
Wow. That one not close. So Lowry on 4 pitches walks. Ohtani made a good run today. He will not be put on this list. The Angels in their history, 8 no-hitters. Mike Witt had a perfect game.
Yeah, you see somebody going out, but it's Charles Nagy and the interpreter. You start thinking trainer, but this is more of Charles Nagy talking to Ohtani and looking at the interpreter saying, this is what I want you to say. You know, what if the interpreter said exactly the opposite of what Charles Nagy said? He wouldn't know, right?
He wouldn't be the interpreter tomorrow.
Yeah. Good chance he'd be on a long flight home.
Yeah, because Ohtani said, that's not what he told me. Well, this is what he was supposed to tell you.
And that's what you wait for, right? Ohtani to go, oh, hold on, wait a minute.
See, that's 2, 4, 6. That's eight mound visits.
So with a 1 out and a couple of runners on, Chris Davis steps up. That's Blake Wood. So there is an opportunity here for the A's to maybe get back in the game. First pitch to Davis. He taps it back to Ohtani, who waits, and he's just going to get the out at first, which was the right play. When was the last time the Oakland A's were no-hit? July 13th, 1991 against the Baltimore Orioles. So that's a while ago.
And I know the nickname came before that, but you don't get dubbed the swinging A's for no reason.
Yeah.
So with 2 outs, here's Olson.
And I finally found out through Monty Moore, the great one, he was the one that coined the phrase swinging A's. And it had nothing to do with anything because it's Kansas City. I love the story that he told. He said, man, the Kansas City A's had so many guys, all they do is swung at everything. So they would say, these are the swinging A's.
So it had nothing to do with scoring a bunch of runs.
No.
It had nothing to do with punches being thrown.
And I like what Monty said when it came to Oakland, Carolyn Kaufman, Charlie Finney, I mean, that was the organization, basically 2. And he said, Monty said, he never called me about money. He said, hey, Moore, what was that thing you came up with? And he said, oh, you mean swinging aces? Yeah, that's what we're going to go with.
All right.
So that was the great Monty Moore. So swinging ace, it's all about what Monty said. Yeah, they had some guys, Mike Hirschberger, Danny Cater guys, he said they swung at everything. Now, during that period of time, Monty did say it was kind of tough in the late 60s to say a team was a swinging A's because they're saying, wow, what are they doing off the field? You know, it had nothing to do with that. He said it was strictly about on the field, the way the A's hitters swung at pitches all the time. So
and that group, as much as they were the swinging, they probably weren't swinging and missing any more than teams are now.
No, exactly. But under the day of, you know, swing at strikes and be patient. Yeah, right. See ball, hit ball, let's go. Throw the ball and let's hit it.
There you go. 2-1 the count to Olson, who has struck out twice.
Big knock right here to get on the board would be great for Ed Olson. You know, Cap, if you recall in Dallas Braden's perfect game, I'm looking at the score sheet today. Ohtani had 3-3 and 2 counts. Dallas Braden had, I want to say it was Gabe Kapler or Longoria, 12 pitch at bat. So that means you have to throw strikes every pitch. You keep fouling them off, and finally, obviously, got the out. Kevin Kuzminoff made a great play.
So now it's 3-2. Olson thought maybe it was off the plate.
Well, he's inside, the pitch is outside. It's really the way Maldonado caught the ball, but you have to give credit to the umpire. It's 99-mile-an-hour fastball. And umpires should never look at the way the catcher catches the ball and the location. It's crossing the plate, it's a strike. And even though the target was inside, the pitch outside, Maldonado caught it right, but it went over the plate as a strike.
Swing and a miss, he struck him out. He went with a splitter, a little fist pump from Ohtani. And that is his 12th strikeout in the ball game. The A's get a hit, they strand a pair. 7th inning stretch time coming up, 6-0 Angels.
Center field. Buckner goes back to the fence. It is gone. What a marvelous moment for baseball. What a marvelous moment for Atlanta and the state of Georgia. What a marvelous moment for the country and the world. A black man is getting a standing ovation in the Deep South for breaking a record of an all-time baseball idol.
Well, that was on this date in 1974. Hank Aaron hit home run number 715, passing Babe Ruth, who had finished with 755 career home runs. And that is your Coors Light refreshing finish. And what a finish, and what a great call by the Hall of Fame broadcaster Vin Scully, who had retired a couple of years ago. But the numbers for Hammer and Hank Aaron: 25 All-Star games. Of course, that's the most ever. At one time, they played 2 in one season. 57 MVP. 3 Gold Glove Awards. I mean, just all kinds of great numbers. 755 home runs. How about the hits? 37-71, 21-74 runs scored, and a 305 career batting average. I would say that's a first ballot Hall of Famer, Punda.
I would hope so.
And guys, not to leave out one of the unsung heroes of that play was the pitcher in the bullpen, Tom House, who made the catch.
That's right.
Secure the ball for the Hammer.
And they had a wager in the bullpen who would catch it.
Yeah.
And Tom House, and he came sprinting in, and no, he's not going to try to sell it. He said, "Here, Hammer, it's yours."
Oh yeah.
But also Dusty Baker was the on-deck circle. You saw Joe Ferguson, the catcher. And we were in Kansas City when it happened on this date, playing the Royals with the Athletics. Yeah. And 44 years ago, for number 44, who had the quickest, strongest wrist of anybody I've ever seen in my life. And what a gentleman.
So Albert Pujols steps in. New pitcher is Santiago Casilla when it's time for change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service.
I got his
Trusted
autograph.
oil change. What's that?
I got his autograph.
Okay, let me finish reading this, then you can tell the story. Your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. We've been doing this for 15 years together, Ray. You know I have to finish.
I know,
these
I know. I was kidding.
Hey, but the best part about that, guys, is, and for the folks at home, again, it's Ray Fosse. That's Ray Fosse speaking, and you hear how giddy he is speaking about getting a man like that's autographed. You know it's real.
Oh man, I was telling Kaipa up here that I not only met him, but I was right behind him whenever I saw him take a Sam McDowell 0-2 fastball up and in and hammer it off for the left center field wall at Tucson High Corbett Field. Yep. And I said, "Sam, you got a great curve. What are you doing? Throw another one." But he shook me off to throw a heater, and I said, "Okay." And boy, those wrists.
That was at the end of his career.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, well, Sam, sometimes you are the hammer, and sometimes you are the nail.
I'm sorry to jump in there.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
You know what, though? We talked about this last year. The interesting part about Hank Aaron hitting that home run, it was a Monday night in Atlanta. The season had obviously just started. But the Braves opened that season in Cincinnati.
They did.
And on Friday, Hank Aaron, opening day, has 713 home runs. He hits a home run his first at bat.
That's right, 714.
So now, keep this in mind, folks. They're in Cincinnati. Yeah. Well, the Braves are like, you got to break it in Atlanta. Yeah. He's got 2 more games to play before they go home to Atlanta. He did not hit a home run, obviously, but listen, everybody wanted him to break it in Atlanta, and that's the way it should be. But
you know,
first at bat,
so
now he's tied with Babe with 2 more games to play before he goes home.
And wasn't there something about the commissioner stepping in and said, "You have to play"?
Well, I think I think Hank, he was in a tough spot because he doesn't want to make it look like, well, it's the 2nd or 3rd game of the year and I'm not playing, but he wanted to break it in Atlanta.
Well, that's like Ricky Henderson breaking the all-time stolen record at home.
That one is driven toward right center field. Smolinski's going to hustle over, and he makes a nice running catch.
Yeah, that was great. To watch, we were in Oakland when Mark McGwire hit number 70, or actually, I'm sorry, number 62 to break Roger Maris's record, and it just kept going. We were at a clubhouse. He didn't waste any time either. It was bam, bam, let's go. Of course, they were playing in St. Louis, and we were in Oakland, so 2-hour time change and able to watch the game. But Hank Aaron, what a career and what a gentleman.
Still works for the Atlanta Braves.
He does. And There's a doctor in San Francisco, UC Medical Center. His name is Dr. Roach. He is the brother-in-law of Hank Aaron.
Really? Okay.
And he may be the only person to ever see Hank Aaron's record-breaking home run and Barry Bonds. He saw both. Saw both of them.
Well, as a kid growing up in Milwaukee, I remember it was a big deal when Hank came back to Milwaukee to play for the Brewers.
Yeah.
His final 2 seasons, which I think was 75 and 76, and that's where you would have probably played against him. And he was not the same player at that point, but it was still a really big deal. And he DH'd for the Brewers, and he had a couple decent years. Belted toward left. Joyce back, just enough room for Matt Joyce. He brings it home, and a good inning for Santiago.
Should never have left Milwaukee.
That's true.
and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
So 6-0 Angels lead. It is the top of the 8th inning. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake expert. So Blake Wood comes in. Ohtani done after 7 innings. Blake Wood pitched in game 1. He's off to a good start. He's not allowed to run as Wood.
He's got great stuff.
Yeah.
94, 97 at times, upwards of that. Good slider anywhere from 88 to 91.
91 pitches for Ohtani, about as good as you can get. 1 walk and 12 strikeouts. How about this, you guys? Every one of his 12 strikeouts swinging.
And probably everyone on splitters, except for maybe the one fastball, but threw a lot of great splitters.
Well, and what that tells you, through 91 pitches, 12 strikeouts, and you mentioned every one of them swinging, that is efficiency and deception within the strike zone.
That's a good combination.
The deception coming from the swing and misses, the efficiency, 91 total pitches, 12 strikeouts. It's going to take at least 3 pitches to get there over the course of 7 plus or 7 1/3. Yeah.
So 1-2 the count to Chapman, who has lined out and struck out. He lays off that one. Mariners and the Twins postponed today, as we mentioned. Too cold in Minnesota. They played yesterday, but not today. Astros are headed there. It's supposed to snow tonight.
You know, if I'm a pitcher, I'm all in on that. 20
That's
degrees,
right.
22 degrees, that's
right.
fastballs in. That's all I'm hearing when I hear 22 degrees. I'm hearing fastballs in.
Astros, Twins tomorrow night. Game time temperature is going to be in the mid-30s. Go get them.
And the Astros just left the comfort of the
Yes, they did.
Oh,
the Dome Stadium.
Comfort of Minute Maid. Hard hit ball right to Kozar.
Well, Green Fridays at the ballpark continue April the 20th as the Red Sox come to the Coliseum at the beginning of a 3-game series. First 20,000 fans will get a Matt Chapman. There he was. That's a replica Kelly Green jersey. 3 games against Boston starting Friday, April the 20th. Grab your phone and pop in athletics.com/tickets to grab yours today. And I suggest you get the tickets early and get there early because Matt Chapman, that's going to be a popular jersey giveaway.
Red Sox won again today. They beat Tampa Bay 8-7. Red Sox are 8-1.
Yeah, the $200 million payroll, he should be good.
paid for it.
So they're 8-1. Tampa Bay 1-8.
What are the Yankees?
Yankees not. Yankees
5-5.
Yeah, 5-5, 500 baseball. Giancarlo Stanton makes history today, becoming the first player during the live ball era to strike out 5 times in one game.
Did they boo him?
Wow. When did he do that?
Well, he did it about a week
Yeah,
ago, and he did
yeah.
it today.
Okay,
He did it
so
again,
he did it for the
Yes,
second time.
yes, second time.
Oh,
sorry,
okay.
sorry. Small
Okay.
caveat. I left.
Because I was thinking, wait, didn't he do that on opening day? So he struck out 5 times today.
Yes.
Well, I mean, you still think about between Judge and Stanton last year, they struck out a combined 372 times.
It's going to happen.
Hey, Joe DiMaggio in his career 369.
I know.
So you know, that is amazing. And yes, it's going to happen. That's why it's tough for Aaron Boone to position them back to back in the batting order, because you've got a chance to strike both of them out. I mean, granted, they both could hit home runs too, but that's it's going to be interesting.
So the Red Sox off to their best start in franchise history, and Red Sox and the Yankees will play this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the first meeting of the year between those two teams, and it'll be at Fenway Park.
Does that mean all those games will be televised nationally?
All those games will be long. That's what that means. So Luke Croy takes the walk.
Yeah, you're right there.
So the A's have a 1-out base runner. Blue Jays beat the Rangers 7-4. So the Blue Jays take 2 out of 3. And the Rangers now 4-7 on the year.
You know, one time still say that, I mean, look at the weather here today and what really headed up in Oakland for the 8-game beginning of the season. And, you know, you start thinking about some of the cold weather cities and how fortunate teams on the West Coast are. I mean, travel is a little bit more difficult, but look at the weather. I mean, people out in shorts, Dave Campbell putting sunscreen on, and they don't do that in Minnesota when it's 21.
Well, how about this, Ray? The Indians beat the Royals today 3-1. Who cares, right? Well, first pitch temperature 32 degrees, the coldest in park history in Cleveland. That's Progressive Field.
Really?
32 degrees at first pitch in Cleveland, and
It seemed colder when I started there, but maybe just too hyped up. Never thought about the cold weather in my sleeveless uniforms.
1-0 the count to Stephen Piscotty. Well, the coldest game you and I ever did together was in Cleveland. I don't know the exact year, but it was frigid. And I want to say it was 36, 37 degrees, and we actually shut the windows in the booth. And we've never done that before, and we haven't done it since.
Was that early April?
Yeah, it was mid-April, but it was frigid. My goodness. 2008, we're being told that was.
Seems like just yesterday, huh?
Yeah.
10 years ago. And there we are with the palm trees. Slight breeze blowing with a clear sky.
See, our director, Tom, adds that he's just rubbing it in right now to the people of Cleveland.
What was that? Send and receive money?
You got palm trees? Didn't think so. We do.
We got a rock pile in center field. There it is. Speaking, Tommy, that's why this crew's the best, because they listen, you talk about it. It's some A's fans, disappointed A's fans. Wanted to see history on the other side.
Piscotty hits one high and foul, headed for the seats down the left field line. Tigers beat the White Sox 1-0, so that's a sweep for Detroit.
What's the temperature there? Had to be cold.
It was in Chicago, so yeah, I mean, basically it has to be cold. So the Midwest and the East Coast just waiting for some little warmer spring weather.
Yeah, they're just waiting to come west to enjoy some California weather.
On the ground to third. Schimpf has it to Cozart, and that's a double play. So Piscotty hits into the double play, and that will do it for the A's in the top of the eighth. Bottom of the eighth coming up on a beautiful day in California. Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 0-1-0 for the A's, 6-7-0 for the Angels. Ohtani, the story today. He took a no-hitter into the seventh inning. A one-out single by Marcus Semien broke up that no-hitter. Mike Trout with a home run. Ryan Schimpf with a home run. So all Angels so far in this one as we have reached the bottom of the eighth inning. It'll be Valbuena, Maldonado, and Schimpf against Santiago Casilla. Valbuena is 0 for 3 in this game. Casilla had a 3-up, 3-down seventh inning, so he's getting a little work in.
Voss, you made the point about Yusmeiro Petit coming in and working today, getting some extended work if possible. Same thing here for Casilla. Hasn't got much work since the beginning of the season. Like to get him in there, knock some rust off with the off day coming up tomorrow.
Well, in the case of Friday night, had the A's gone to the 8th and 9th, with Blake trying to pitch in the 7th and had the lead, it might have been Casilla and company trying to finish the game out. So it's nice.
If you're looking for that silver lining in ball games like this, that's something you pay attention to, is how well the bullpen performs, how well certain individuals in the bullpen perform, if they're able to sort of establish themselves as somebody that can be leaned on.
That's Felix Pena, who's one of the relievers that was called up from the minor leagues today. And the Angels needed a starter to go deep in a game today, and they certainly got that from Ohtani, who went 7 innings.
You talk about that being a sign of a leader of a rotation, being a sign of a stopper. You've got the bullpen taxed. You haven't gotten a lot of innings out of your starting staff. You need to give them a blow. You step up, you get deep into a ball game, sort of resets everything.
Strike 3 called. Lucroy drops it, picks it up, and tags Valbuena 1 away.
For Santiago Casilla, getting the opportunity to pitch is good. And here comes Uncle Charlie, the pitcher he likes to throw a lot. It was a slow breaking ball, and like Valbuena, that look of, I can't believe it's a strike. Well, it's perfectly thrown.
1 out for Maldonado. Maldonado hit by a pitch, ground out, and a strikeout. Big crowd today, 44,742. So 36,000 on Friday, 40,000 last night, 44,000 today.
Well, remember, Shohei Ohtani is a rookie. He's making minimum salary. So an attendance clause would be perfect to supplement his minimum salary income. He got about a $2.3 million bonus to sign the international signing.
That was our idea, right?
I think, yeah, he should get a percentage.
So to say, maybe he can. We did throw it out there.
Probably too late, though. I think if nothing else, the Angels will decide that on the day he pitches. Hey, Mike. Mike and Charlie Nagy, can you please let me know when Shohei's pitching at home so we can have no promotion?
Can we work together in the off season? I'm sure Mike Scioscia would just love that. I think Mike's going to do exactly what he wants to do.
Exactly right.
Maldonado puts a high pop up just below us. So the count 2-2. Well, once again this season, you'll be able to stream every NBC Sports California A's broadcast on your desktop or mobile device. A's games streamed on the go on the NBC Sports app, brought to you by Honda. Two and two. And Maldonado on up and in pitch goes around. So he strikes out for the second time. 2 away here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Good job by Casilla. Was able to get the put away on the high breaking ball last AB here. A little bit of pitching going on. Misses with the breaking ball up, go with the heater up. Changing eye levels.
So Schimpf hits for the 3rd time, make it the 4th time, and he's had a good ball game getting a start today at third base. 2 walks, a homer. He has scored twice.
We've been talking about Babe Ruth and Hank Aaron. How about Schimpf?
Yeah. You do that from the 9th spot, you're probably going to have a good offensive day.
That's right.
As a team.
And Mike, so just play defense. Don't worry about your hitting. And
we got enough offense.
Yeah.
So 2-1 the count. A's will have Smolinski, Joyce, Simeon, and they're going to need a whole bunch more in the 9th inning. So now 3-1 as that one runs off the plate. So the Angels looking for their 7th win of the year. Full count. Last year the Angels 80 and 82. They were sort of in the wild card hunt going into the final month. They were just kind of hanging in there, but then they had a really bad month of September. Got knocked out of that wild card chase. Schimpf on a 3-2 pitch that was in the dirt goes around. Throw to first side, retired. So 2 good innings by Santiago Casilla. Last shot for the A's, trailing 6-0.
We talked about how this guy's been struggling. Well, struggling no more with this shot to straightaway center over the trees. Over the trees. A fastball, pointing to his wife Jessica up in her suite. You make the money he does, he can have a suite, anything he wants. Maybe he owns a stadium, but that was a ball that he blooped into right field for a base hit. So good day for Mike Trout. And unfortunately, A's won't see him for a while. So that's good. Let it get hot. A's come back to Anaheim to play the Angels in August, and then the final 3 games of the season in September. Play the Angels at home in June, and they play them one at a time before they come back here. No, they play them in September, back-to-back weeks. So last year it was kind of the beginning, couple of series, and then at the end. Sometimes it's beginning, middle, and end. And he's trying to come up with 7 in this final game.
Well, this year it's Seattle, Ray. We go to Seattle next weekend.
Yep.
And then we also go to Seattle May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
That's a good point. Yep.
So this is Felix Pena. Youngster just brought up. So Pena takes over here trying to get the final 3 outs and win the series for the Angels. Pena, one of 10 relievers the Angels have. And that's obviously very temporary, but it's also very needed. Angels have forced their bullpen to do a lot of work. So 1-2 the count to Smolinski, who has struck out twice. The new guy's hanging out. His only hit came with 1 out in the 7th inning. It was a clean line drive single by Marcus Semien. pitch is ripped foul down the left field. Off tomorrow, Tuesday night at Dodger Stadium. Make sure you join us for that. For lefties, Sean Manaea and Hunyin Grua. Very close. Joyce will be next, and then Simeon. Ryu, I should say. I pronounced his name incorrectly. That's Chris Young who's in the game. So Young takes over for Upton, and that's out number 1.
Well, this was what happened today. The A's facing Ohtani for the second time in back-to-back Sundays. His only 2 starts of his major league career, and struck out a total of 12. And everybody wondering, could he pitch deep enough to get a perfect game, which he had for, well, how about 6 2/3 innings? And then it all happened, actually 6 1/3. Marcus Semien on a 2-0 fastball hit a base hit to right left field. And that was the pump of the fist after his 12th punch out to complete 7 innings of shutout baseball. Pretty good outing for Shohei Ohtani. 7, 1 hit, 1 walk, and that came in the same inning that gave up the hit.
And Joyce hits one deep to right field, and the A's are going to be on the board. That baby's gone. The A's will not be shut out today as Joyce homers, his 2nd of the year.
And there are the boos, and that boo bird is for they wanted the shutout.
That ball was absolutely leaned on. Different sound from down here. You can hear the folks surrounding me. Just a collective ooh. MJ, Matty Joyce gets a pitch on the inner half, lets the hips fly. Talked about that wheel feeling better, got the knee feeling a little better. Is able to get on that backside. As they say, finish high.
So now 6-1 with Simeon stepping in.
Well, you don't want to be no hit, perfect game. Don't want to be shut out. So all those things accomplished today, even though it took them 9 innings to do it.
Marcus Simeon, we mentioned the hit. He's also struck out a couple of times. That one's hit well. Trout going back. He's going to have just enough room. Right in front of the 396 sign in center field.
That was sounding great also. But if Trout plays deep, that's just a couple of steps for him to be able to catch it as it stopped right in front of the wall.
So that leaves it up to Lowry. Lowry, a strikeout, a ground out, and a walk. Fouls the first pitch back. Lowry's average at 326 in the very early going of this season. Tough to kind of read batting averages at this point in the year because they fluctuate quite a bit.
Well, a lot better than those 0-ers or 0-61s, and at least get a respectable batting average so you can be proud when you go out. And I think we get to talk about the pitchers, the same for the hitters. You know, you can build confidence, and they always say if you can get 30 hits for 100 at bats, isn't that amazing? You can make 70 outs and you still hit 300. 70 outs.
And that one's going to get through. Rolls into left center field for a base hit.
Right where the shortstop would have been playing. And again, you're down 5. Hitters change. And hits it. And he did that twice in Seattle, as I mentioned a couple of years ago. That happen to drive in runs. You have to change a few things, but it's very rarely done.
And I think that's a fine example of taking what the game gives you. I mean, you talk about that. Sure, the game situation is what it is. You're down 5, top of the 9th. But strategically, if you're going to move guys around as a hitter, take what they give you, take what the game gives you. The game is giving you the left side. Hit it where it's pitched.
Chris Davis swings to the first pitch. Davis 0 for 3. Fly ball to center, a strikeout, and a bouncer back to the pitcher. Lowry takes off. The ball's rolled to third. It's scooped up by Schimpf, throws across, and that's the ball. So all Angels this afternoon behind Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani with 7 shutout innings. The A's do get on the board in the 9th, but they come up well short. And the Angels take 2 out of 3 this weekend over the Athletics. Time of game was 2 hours and 53 minutes, and the attendance 44,742. Final score.